Hello. 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 Hello, my dear students. Anyone please respond by unmuting yourself. Hello. Hello. Anyone please respond? హలో ఏంటి సార్ ఎవరు మాట్లాడలేదు ఏంటి సార్ ఎవరు మాట్లాడలేదు ఏంటి హలో dear students, please respond. Anyone? Am I audible to you? Hello.
17 members are there. ఉన్నారు సార్. అన్మ్యూట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ అని చెప్పండి.
హలో.
అన్మ్యూట్ అవ్వండి.
Anyone, please unmute yourself and try to talk. Hello. Hello. హలో ఎవరు మాట్లాడండి బాబు. హలో. Anyone please respond? Am I audible to you? Hello. ఎవరు మాట్లాడలేదు మాస్టర్. No one responding.
రెస్పాండ్ అవుతుందా సార్? మీరు పెట్టుకున్నారా? చాట్లో చెప్పండి.
ఎస్ సార్ అంటున్నారు. 3 Am I audible? All of you, anyone please unmute yourself and respond. Am I audible to you? 319? Okay. Now I'm sharing the screen. Yes. Today we are going to discuss about linear measurement. That is the second unit. Okay. What is linear measurement? Okay, to which it applies? It applies to measurement of length, heights, diameter, thickness, radius, etc. Okay. Measurement of length, height, diameter, thickness, and radius comes under linear measurement. What are the different designs of linear measuring instruments? Line measurement designs and end measurement instruments are there. Okay. In case of line measurements, we are going to take the distance between two lines which are graduated on the scale. In case of end measurements, we are going to take the measurement between the two flat parallel surfaces. That is end measurement design instruments. Two types of instruments: line measurement based design instruments and end measurement based instruments. Okay, in this case, line measuring instruments have series of accurately spaced lines marked on them, just like our steel rule. Okay, here in this case, we are going to measure the perpendicular distance between 2 points or 2 lines on the graduated scale. That is line measurement. What is end measurement? Okay, in case of end measurement, we're going to take the distance between two parallel surfaces, flat surfaces. Okay. Next, linear measuring instruments. Generally, linear measuring instruments are classified based on the method of measurement. They are direct measuring instruments and indirect measuring instruments. In case of direct measuring instruments, okay, as already discussed in the earlier classes by Dr. Velan sir, what is direct measurement? The physical quantity which is measured is directly measured with an instrument, okay, without any calculations. That is direct measuring instruments. What is indirect measuring instruments? The physical quantity which is to be measured is measured with the help of calculations. Okay, for example, if you want to measure the angle by using sine bar, in that case, you are going to use the calculation formula that is sine theta equal to h by l. In that case, you are going to measure the height of slip gauges, and finally, you are going to find the theta. That means theta is calculated indirectly. Example for indirect measuring instruments is sine bar, right? In case of direct measuring instruments, we're always going to measure the physical quantity directly without any calculations and formulas, right? Measuring instruments can be further classified as, these direct measuring instruments are further classified as graduated instruments or non-graduated instruments. What are graduated instruments? It includes rules, vernier calipers, vernier height gauges, vernier depth gauges, micrometers, and dial indicators. These are all comes under graduated instruments. Why they are called graduated instruments means they are having scales and they are having calibrations. Gradations are there. Okay, non-graduated instruments, no calibrated scale is there. Okay, on these non-graduated instruments, it includes calipers. What is caliper means simply having two legs, pointed legs. It is used to transfer the distance, okay, from one location to other locations. It will not give the direct measurement. That is non-graduated instrument. No gradations are there on the particular instruments. It includes calipers, wire gauges, screw, pitch gauges, radius gauges, thickness gauge, slip gauge. These are all comes under non-graduated instruments. If there are no gradations on the particular instrument, they are called non-graduated instruments. If there exist gradations on the particular instruments, they are called graduated instruments. These two comes direct measuring instruments. Okay. Right. Graded instruments. What are the examples here? The vernier calipers, micrometer, vernier height gauge, vernier depth gauge. This all comes under graduated measuring instruments. As said, here in this case, if you observe the scale, the main scale or the vernier scale, both are having gradations. That means lines, graduated lines, equally engraved lines are there on the main scale and the vernier scale. So that is the reason why it comes under graduated instruments. Okay, if you observe here micrometer, in this case also on the barrel, okay, there exist gradations. Here in this vernier height gauge or vernier depth gauge, in all the cases gradations are there. Therefore, these are all called graduated instruments, right? Non-graduated instruments. Non-graduated means no gradations or lines are not engraved on the instruments. Here in this case, if you go for the caliper, okay, not vernier caliper, that is simply caliper having pointed legs here. It is not having gradations on these instruments. Therefore, it is a example for non-graduated instruments. If you go for the wire gauges, gradations are not there on the wire gauges, screw pitch gauges, calipers, all types of calipers, wire gauges, and screw pitch gauges. Okay, comes under non-graduated instruments. Right. Next, coming to linear measuring instruments. Again, those are classified based on accuracy. In the previous case, those are based on direct and indirect measurements. Okay, if you go for the previous slide, direct measuring instruments, and those are based on the method of measurement. Okay, right. Now, based on accuracy, again the linear measuring instruments are divided. That is non-precision type instruments and precision type instruments. What is precision? What is accuracy? Precision means repeatability of an instrument, okay, for set of experiments. That means if you want to measure a particular quantity, okay, if you go for set of experiments. In all the experiments, you need to get the same value. If the instrument give the same value in all set of experiments, then it is called precision instruments. Okay, precision instruments try to give more accuracy. Okay, non-precision instruments means it includes steel rule, caliper, divider, depth gauge, telescopic gauge. These are all comes under non-precision instruments. Okay, why the steel rule is non-precision instruments? In this case, the accuracy is low. Why? Because there exists parallel access errors while reading the steel rule, right? Caliper also, divider, depth gauge. These are all okay. Gives the less accurate results. Precision type instruments. It includes vernier caliper, vernier height gauge, vernier depth gauge, micrometer, and slip gauges. Why they are called precision instruments? The accuracy is more in case of vernier caliper. Suppose if you take vernier calipers, what is the least count? That is 0.02 mm. What is the minimum value that can be measured by steel rule? That is only 1 mm. Therefore, these vernier calipers is the precision type instruments. Okay, and steel rule comes under non-precision type instruments. Okay, micrometers, slip gauges, all comes under precision type of instruments. They give more accuracy. Okay, when the particular quantity is measured, right, based on the accuracy. Right. These are all the different. These are all different measuring, direct measuring and indirect measuring instruments. Okay, comes to the steel rule, very basic instrument in the metrology or in everyday life. That is steel rule. Okay, steel rule simply a rule having gradations on the its surface. Okay, markings 1 mm. Least is a 1 mm. Right. What is steel rule? Simplest and most commonly used in linear instrument. It is a part replica of the international prototype of meter. They are marked with a graduated scale and whose smallest intervals are 1 millimeter. What are the smallest intervals on the scale steel rule? 1 mm. To increase its versatility, some scales are marked with 0.5 mm in between them. That means our linear scales are only having 1 mm least count, but other scales are also there, steel rules having 0.5 mm as the least count. So these steel rules are available in different lengths and ranges. Okay, if you go for they are available in different lenses, 150 mm, 300 mm, and 600 mm. Maximum is 1000 mm length. That is 1 meter, right? They can be used for direct comparison with the object to be measured. Whatever the object, if you want to measure its dimension or its length, the object is directly placed, parallel to this particular steel rule, okay, and you are going to measure the length of the particular object. Next. They can be used for direct comparison with the object to be measured. Sometimes outside and inside calipers can be used in conjunction with scale. What is this? Sometimes outside and inside calipers can be used in conjunction with the scale. Why the calipers used in conjunction with scale? Suppose if you want to measure the diameter of a given circle, okay, in that case, you cannot measure directly the diameter by using our linear scale. Why? Because you have to place the linear scale at the maximum diameter visible area. That is difficult. Therefore, you are going to use the caliper. Simply the caliper take the dimension of the circle and the dimension is simply compared with the scale to identify the exact value. So these steel rules are used in conjunction with the vernier calipers, okay, to give better results. Okay. Right. They have an anodized profile with a minimum thickness and wear resistant ultraviolet curved screen printing. Okay, they should be made of good quality spring steel and be chrome plated to prevent corrosion. Definitely. Always they are going to use the steel rule means they are subjected to wear. Okay, so they are simply prevent steel and chrome plated to prevent corrosion. Simply they are chrome plated to prevent corrosion. Okay, right. The main problem with the steel rule is its parallax error. While reading the dimension or the length with the help of steel rule, we have to observe the dimension without having parallax error. Nowadays, battery operated digital scales are used to measure travel of machines. Drilling, milling machines are going to use the digital scales. Maximum measuring speed of 1.5 meter per second and is equipped with a high contrast 6 mm liquid crystal display. Okay, right. These are the digital scales, right? Next, steel roll. Okay, in this steel roll, here, if you observe this diagram, workpiece is placed away from the steel roll. Here, there exists a clearance between the steel roll and the workpiece. Okay, if you take like this, in this case, you will get a wrong results. So what is the correct position? Here in this case, you have to place the workpiece which is to be measured in contact and parallel with the steel roll. Okay, like this. You have to place like this. Okay, right. If while observing the reading, okay, the correct position is this one, the middle one. This is the correct position. The wrong position, do not to take the reading, okay, by observing it at some inclination. This is wrong in wrong reading position, and this wrong reading position. This is the correct position. Means you have to observe the reading perpendicular to the scale. Okay, right. Calipo. This is the end standard measuring instrument. Why it is called end standard measuring instruments? Means we are going to measure the dimension in between two faces. Two faces. Okay, that is the reason why it is called end standard measuring instrument. Between 2 points here, these are all calipers having pointed legs, and these are simply hinged at the top. Okay, and these two legs are parallel to each other, parallel to each other. Okay, here these are sliding type. Okay, flexible when calipers are also there. Here the spring type calipers. Here the top the spring is there in order to extend the legs to the required dimension. Okay, the inward and outward caliper also there, inside and outside, to measure the inner diameters and outside dimensions of the circular bars. Okay, observe here inward, this is inward, this is inward, and this is the outward. Your legs are bent outward, therefore it is used for measuring the diameter of the given circle or recess or holes. Okay. These are all used for measuring the outer dimensions. Next. Calipers typically use a precise slide movement for inside outside depth step measurement. They do not have a graduated scale. Okay, their graduation, non-graduated instrument it is, non-graduated. Okay, consisting of two legs hinged at top with the ends, the legs spinning, the part to be measured, made from alloy steels. So all the calipers are made from alloy steels. Measuring ends are suitably hardened and tempered in order to reduce the wear. Okay. Accuracy of measurement depends on the sense of feel that can only be acquired by experience. Sense of means without a parallax error, always you have to take the reading. Sense means contact. While taking the reading of an object, you have to sense the contact of the caliper legs with the object. Okay. Next, types of calipers. Inside calipers and outside calipers are there. These are all non-graduated measuring instruments. They are used in conjunction with the steel rolls. Okay. Inside calipers and outside calipers. These made with the straight legs which are bent outward at the ends are used for measuring hole diameter, distance between shoulders. Opening can be checked by a rule or micrometer. Outside calipers to measure the outside dimensions. Just like if you take a bar, its outside diameter is to be measured. You are going to use the outside calipers. Circular hole, if you want to measure the inner diameter of the hole, then you go for the inside calipers. Okay. Inside and outside calipers are available in different sizes. Okay. Here up to maximum 300, minimum is 75. 75 to 300 availability of calipers. Okay. Right. This is a digital type caliber. Okay, if you place the object whose dimension is to be measured here in between two legs, okay, the reading is directly displayed in the digital display. Okay, right. This digital type of calipers. Okay, next coming to the vernier calipers and micrometers. Vernier calipers and micrometers both are having least count. Okay, what is the least count? How to find the least count of vernier and how to find the least count of micrometer? You must know. Okay, what is least count? Capability of an instrument to measure minimum distance accurately. It represents the accuracy of measurement. Difference between the value of main scale and auxiliary scale. That is the least count. Okay, least count of vernier instruments. Here in this case, least count equal to value of minimum division on main scale, value of minimum division on main scale by number of divisions on the auxiliary, that is vernier scale. Okay, this gives the least count. You observe here, clearly here in this case. This is the main scale, this is the vernier scale. Here, zero coincidence is that the vernier zero on the main scale coincide with the zero on the vernier scale. Here in this case, here, if you observe clearly on the vernier scale, here totally 50 divisions. 50 divisions on the vernier scale equal to 49 divisions on the main scale. So you are going to use the principle n minus 1 by n. Vernier principle n minus 1 by n. Here, n minus 1 means n minus 1 divisions on the main scale are divided again into n divisions. N minus 1 means here totally 50 divisions are considered. N minus 1 means 49 divisions are taken from the main scale, and again those are subdivided into 50. So if you observe here clearly, 49 main scale division equal to 50 vernier scale divisions. Okay, 49 main scale division. Okay, observe here. This is 49 main scale divisions are equal to 50 vernier scale divisions. One main scale division, if you observe clearly here, what is the one main scale division value? 1 mm. Main scale division. One main scale division value is 1 mm. Okay, right. One vernier scale division. How to get the one vernier scale division? 49 main scale divisions by 50 vernier scale divisions. Okay, 49 by 50. We will get 0.98 as the one vernier scale division. What is least count difference between main scale division and vernier scale division? Here 1 minus 0.98. You will get 0.02 as the least count of the vernier. Okay, you are going to use in this principle n minus 1 by n. Right? Least count for the micrometer. In this micrometer, if you observe here barrel having gradations. This minimum value is 0.5 mm, and the maximum is up to 25. Here this is called the thimble. Thimble is having totally 50 divisions on its circumference. Okay, right. Least count. Value of smallest division on main scale by value of the smallest division on main scale. That is 0.5 is the minimum division. Okay, on the main scale. That divided by number of divisions on the auxiliary scale. What is the auxiliary scale? What is the scale on the thimble? This is called okay, auxiliary scale. It is having 50 divisions. So value of smallest division on the main scale is 0.5. Observe here, this is 0.5 divided by number of division on the thimble is 50. 0.550 gives 0.01. That is the least count. Okay. Value of smallest division on main scale by number of divisions on auxiliary scale. 0.01. If you observe the least count of vernier and micrometer, here least count is 0.02 and the least count is 0.01. So micrometer is more accurate when compared with the vernier calipers. Okay, vernier calipers. This vernier calipers, the combination of inside and outside calipers. Okay, it is having two sets of jaws, internal jaws and external jaws. Okay, right. Here this is locking screw. Here imperial scale, that is main scale. Okay, this is the vernier scale and depth measuring blade. Depth measuring blade. Okay. Here the two faces, two jaws, external measuring jaws are parallel to each other. Here also parallel to each other. Here these two ends, these two surfaces, okay, are used for measuring the internal diameter of the circles, races like that. And the external jaws are used for measuring external dimension, just like diameter or length, like that. Okay. Yeah, vernier devised the principle of vernier in 1631. This is the history of the vernier calipers invention. Right? Vernier calipers, you observe clear here. What is the principle in the vernier? Here the difference between divisions, least divisions on the main scale and the vernier scale are taken into account in order to measure the accurate dimensions. It is when two scales, main and auxiliary scales, divisions slightly different in sizes are used. The difference between them can be utilized to enhance the accuracy of measurement. Okay. Here the main scale 0, 10, 20, 30 like that. The main scale is the fixed scale, and is the vernier scale, it is movable scale. Two scales are there. One is fixed scale in the shape of L, okay, and is a and gradations are simply engraved on this fixed scale, and this is a vernier scale that is movable scale, which slides on the edge of the main scale. Here fine adjustment is there in order to lock the vernier, or in order to make the fine adjustment of the vernier, the main scale, and the locking screw is there in order to lock. Okay, here the depth measurement blade is there to measure the depths. Right. Principle. Difference between two scales, that is main scale and vernier scale. Smallest division on vernier and smallest division on main scale. The difference of those two gives the smaller value, but a smaller difference. The first instrument developed following vernier principle is sliding caliper, right? To steel rules. This is all about history. It consists of two steel rules, and these can slide along each other. The solid L-shaped frame is engraved with the main scale. Okay, right? As observed in the clear, here it is L-shaped. Main scale is there. It is engraved with the gradations. And the minimum on this particular main scale is 1 millimeter, and the beam and the fixed jaw are exactly at 90 degrees to each other. Right. Consists of movable jaw, as already discussed. It consists of movable jaw, which is also called a vernier scale. The vernier scale is to subdivide minor divisions on the main scale into smallest increments that the vernier instrument is capable of measuring. Okay, here if you observe here, the instrument here, the smallest divisions, these divisions, the main scale divisions are simply subdivided into smaller divisions on the vernier. That is only the principle here. Some of the verniers have fine adjustment clamp for precise adjustment. There is a locking screw to fix the movable jaw to take correct measurement. Okay. Measuring blades are used for measurement of inside dimensions. Depth bar is used to measure depth of the product. And vernier calipers is polished with strained chrome finish for glare-free reading. Okay, as discussed here by observing this figure, in this case, this is used for measuring the depth, and this is for these internal measuring faces are used for measuring the internal diameter dimensions. These two fixed jaw and the sliding jaw both are used for measuring the external measuring. Okay, external dimensions. Right. Vernier calipers is hardened and made of hardened steel, and they have razor sliding surface protection of the scale. There are three types of vernier caliper measure various needs of external internal measurements up to 2000 mm with an accuracy of 0.02, 0.05, and 0.1 mm. Okay, maximum we can measure by using these vernier scales 2000 mm. And accuracy is 0.02, 0.05, and 0.1 mm. Okay. Various measuring ranges includes maximum up to 2000, 0 to 125 one case, 200, 300, 500, 750, 1000, 750 to 1500, 750 to 2000. Likewise, various measuring ranges are included in the vernier calipers. Okay, what are the instructions to use vernier calipers? Okay, while taking the measurement, simply how to close the jaws tightly on the object to be measured. Okay, that is first step. And then when measuring the round surfaces, ensure that the axis of the workpiece is perpendicular to calipers. Why? Because the diameter is maximum, okay, on the diameter line. Okay, when measuring round surfaces, ensure that the axis of the workpiece is perpendicular to the caliper. Okay, this is the procedure to find the least count of the vernier caliper. That is one main scale division minus one vernier scale division. If you take the one main scale division as 1 mm, vernier scale division is if you take the divisions on the vernier scale as 50 and if its length is equal to 49, then 49 by 50 gives the vernier scale division. This is the least count for the vernier. This count can be calculated using smallest by this formula. This formula can also be used to find the least count. Smallest division on main scale by total number of vernier scale divisions. Okay. Yes, smallest division on Main scale is 1 mm and the total number of vernier scale divisions are 50. Therefore, 1 mm by 50 gives 0.0. Likewise, also you can find the least counts, or otherwise you can use this formula: 1 main scale division minus 1 vernier scale division. Okay, right. Initially, while taking the reading with the vernier calipers, first you have to check for the zero error. Zero error means the zero on the vernier, the main scale should coincide with the zero on the vernier scale. Then only, okay, it is the scale, the vernier calipers is free from zero error. If those two are not a coincidence, that means zero on the main scale not coincided with the zero on the vernier scale, automatically you will get some zero error. You have to adjust the error with the help of given spanner along with the vernier calipers. If you observe here, in this case, here, first you have to, this zero on the vernier is coincide with the some division point on the vernier scale. Here it is 4, 40, 41, 42, 43, like that. You have to take 43, and after this you have to take vernier coincidence with the main scale 0. Beyond this zero coincidence, you have to count the number of divisions on the vernier scales up to a division which exactly coincide with the main scale. Here it is here 2.2. Here this is coincide with this main scale. You have to count the number of divisions. Number of divisions here 5. In like that, you have to take number of divisions and to be multiplied with the least count. Okay. Always here you are going to measure the external dimension of this given square block. Here the internal diameter, sorry, not internal diameter. Here you are going to measure the depth of the given circular hole, and here you are measuring the internal diameter of the circular hole. Okay, so this vernier calipers may be used for external dimensions, depth, and internal dimension measurement. Okay, with an accuracy of 0.02 mm. Right. What are the errors encountered in vernier calipers? Errors due to play between the sliding jaw and the fixed scale bar. Generally, there exists a play between this sliding jaw and the fixed scale. Because of this play, we'll get the errors. Error due to wear and wrapping of jaws. Okay, because of wear, the continuous use of vernier calipers results wear. Because of this wear, you will get some errors in the measurement. Okay, wrapping means bending of the jaws. Also results errors. Okay, errors due to incorrect observation of scale readings. Okay, without parallax error, always you have to take the reading. Okay, if you observe at some inclination, then you will get the errors. Errors due to excessive force on moving jaw. Always you have to apply, okay, considerable force on the moving jaw, okay, to contact the work part. If you apply more pressure, excessive force, then automatically you will get error results. Error is also introduced if the line of measurement does not coincide with the line of the scale. Okay. Observe here, in this case, these are the, okay, measuring jaws. Here the fixed jaw, this is the movable jaw. In between these two jaws, these are the flat faces. These are all comes under end measurement design. Okay, here in this case, the what part? This is the circular part. This circle is to be placed in between these two. Okay, like this. In this case, this axis of this circle must be perpendicular to these faces, okay, jaw faces. The axis of the part must be perpendicular to, okay, this jaw faces. Otherwise, you will get incorrect results. Here, in this case, the two jaws must be parallel to each other in order to take the exact length measurement. Okay, right. Precautions to be taken in use of vernier calipers. What are the precautions? In order to avoid the errors, you have to take precaution. No play should be there between sliding and fixed jaws in order to, okay, avoid the first error. Okay. Next, the tips of measuring jaws should not be worn. Right. Use the stationary jaw on the reference point and obtain measured point by sliding the movable jaws. Right. The vernier calipers must always be properly balanced in hand and held lightly the sliding jaw to adjusting screw. Do not push the moving jaw under pressure. Use adjusting screw for fine adjustment. You have to use the adjusting screw for fine adjustment. Don't apply more pressure on the movable jaw. Okay, in case of measuring an outside diameter, be sure that caliper bar and the plane of caliper jaws are truly perpendicular to the workpiece's longitudinal center line. Okay, suppose in this case, in order to measure the outside diameter, this axis of the axis of this object must be perpendicular to the jaws. Okay, these are all the precautions to be taken in the use of vernier calipers. Okay, right. Vernier calipers, types of vernier calipers. There are three types of vernier calipers: type A, type B, type C. Okay, type A. If you observe the type A, in this case, it is having two sets of jaws for the inside measurement and the outside measurements. And also it is having a depth gauge to measure the depth of recesses of holes like that. Jaws on both sides for external and internal measurements and a blade for depth measurement. This is type A. Okay. In the type B, it is having only one set of jaws. Okay. Both the inside and outside measurements are taken with the help of these two jaws only. One is the fixed jaw and the other is the movable jaw. No other jaws to measure the internal dimension, but these two jaws themselves can be used to okay, to measure the internal and external dimensions of the given object. Okay. Okay, but in this case, in order to measure the internal dimension, you have to add the thickness of the two jaws, fixed jaw and the movable jaw. The thickness of these two jaws are to be added to the result obtained in order to get the internal dimensions. In order to get the internal dimensions, you have to add the thickness or width of these two jaws for the measured value on for the measured value on this particular scale, obtained value on this scale. We will get some value with the help of this vernier scale and the mean scale. For the obtained value, you have to add this width of two jaws, okay, in order to get the internal measurements. So it is provided with jaws on one side for external and internal measurements. But only the difference is in this case, while taking the internal measurement, how to add the thickness of these two jaws to the measurement taken on the scale. Okay. Here, no provision to measure the depth of the hole, depth measurement. No provision, no blade is there in this case, type B. In the type C also, no provision for the blade. Okay, both. But in this case, the diagram is given, but here no blade in the case of type C, but given here. And also these are also not there. Okay. In both the cases, you are having two jaws. These jaws are only used for measuring the internal and external dimensions. Okay, right? Type C and type B both are same. Okay, in the case of type B and type C, always are going to add the width of the two jaws in order to get the internal dimension of the given object. Right? Vernier height gauge. Next, coming to the vernier height gauge, the principle of vernier height gauge is very similar to that of vernier calipers, but in this case, the vernier scale is a vertical scale here. The main scale is a vertical scale, vertical bar. Okay, on the vertical bar, okay, one head, okay, one head is there, vernier head is there. This vernier head is moving on the vertical scale, vertical bar. Okay, again, the vernier head is okay, having a vernier scale here, vernier scale, and this is the main scale. One more head is there, fine adjustment head is there. In this scale, it is having clamping screw and fine adjustment. Two heads are there. One is the vernier head and the other head for the clamping screw and fine adjustment screw. Okay, here at the other end, okay, there is a provision to hold the scribing jaw. Okay, here the scribing jaw, right? Simply this okay, attachment, this scribing jaw used for okay taking the measurement, okay, by placing this scribing jaw flat surface on the what part to be measured. Okay, here in this case, vernier height gauge consists of rigid base, robust base here for the rigidity, okay, and stability, and here a vertical bar means main scale, and here vernier scale is there. Okay, and this vernier head can slide okay up and down on the vertical bar, And these fine adjustment screw head also can slide up and down, okay, on the vertical bar. Okay, right. It should be tested for straightness. Precautions to be taken in use of vernier height gauge should be tested for straightness, squareness, and parallelism working beam. Okay, straightness and squareness. Okay, here this vernier scale is sliding on this vertical bar. Okay, so you have to check for the squareness. Okay, and measuring jaw and scriber. Scriber also having flat surface at the bottom. Okay, this flat surface touches with the work part to be measured. Okay, always you have to clean this. Right. Vernier height gauge. One of the most useful and versatile instruments that is vernier height gauge, used for measuring, inspecting, and transferring the height dimension over plane, step, and curved surfaces. Observe here, used for measuring, inspecting, and transferring the height dimension over plane, step, and curved surfaces. Follow the principle of vernier caliper and also follow the same process of linear measurement. Use it with a weight resistant special base. Okay, if you observe here, in this case also the measurement procedure is same. First you have to take the main scale reading when the zero on the vernier scale coincides with a particular division on the main scale. Okay, then you go for counting the number of vernier divisions. Okay, up to a division which coincides with the main scale division. By adding those two main scale reading and vernier scale reading, automatically you will get the total reading value. Right. Here it consists of vertical graduated beam, columnar, which the main scale is engraved. Vernier scale can move up or down on the beam, right? Already discussed. Bracket carries a vernier scale and a rectangular clamp for clamping scriber blade. Okay, here bracket carries scribing jaw. Okay, it is simply attached to this bracket, right? A rectangular clamp for clamping scriber blade. Right? Arrangement is designed such that when the tip of the scriber blade rests on the surface plate, the zero of the main scale coincides with the zero of the vernier scale. First, you have to check while taking the measurement. First, you have to check the zero error. Okay, what is the zero error? When this blade, flat surface touches the surface plate. Okay, then the zero on the main scale should coincide with the zero on the vernier scale. Then only you can call the zero error. Okay, exert readings, right? Here the magnifying glass also there in order to take the accurate readings, right? While taking the vernier coincidence, the magnifying glass is very helpful in order to magnify the coincidence lines, right? These are all the different elements of the vernier height gauge. Okay, right. Scriber blades can be inverted with its face pointing upwards in order to determine heights at inverted face. Inverted faces diagonal heights are also can be measured with this. Okay, this blade can be inverted in order to measure the inverted dimensions of the objects. Okay, some height gauges are provided with the dial gauges, which makes the reading or bottom movement by dial gauge easy and exact. Directly, the pointer on the dial gauge will indicate the dimension directly without calculation. Okay, other variety, latest variety of vernier height gauges are available. Digital height gauges are available. They provide the advantage of immediate digital readout of measured value, possible to store the standard value in its memory, right? Digital presetting is also possible for entering the reference dimensions digitally and automatically. Okay, digital type of vernier height gauges are also available. Okay, this is the digital type of vernier height gauge. Correct. You can set the preset value, initial value you can preset. Yeah. No need to take the main scale reading, vernier scale reading, vernier coincidence. No need to calculate. Okay, directly the measurement is displayed in the display, right? By simply how to place the work part which is to be measured here below this stem stripe and take the reading simply. Right. Vernier depth gauge. It is also similar. Vernier height gauge already discussed. Now vernier depth gauge. What is vernier depth gauge? It is meant for measuring the depth of the recesses, depth of the holes. Okay, for that depth gauges are used. Okay, it completely works on the principle of vernier scale. Here it is also having the head, movable head, and here the main scale. Here the fine adjustment. and vernier scale on the mobile head. Vernier scale is there. Okay, this mobile head is simply it is allowed to move on the okay vertical main scale, and here it is having the flat surface. Here the flat base. Okay, if you observe here, this is the flat surface. This flat surface is to be okay in contact with the okay surface. This is the object whose depth is to be measured. Okay, this complete flat surface of this mobile head simply touches with this top surface of the workpiece. Top surface of the workpiece. Okay, it must come in contact, complete contact with the workpiece. Then only we'll get the accurate results. Okay, then only we'll get the accurate results. There should not be any clearance between this flat surface and the workpiece. Okay, if there exists complete contact between these two, automatically we'll get the accurate result. Depth measurement. You are measuring the depth. Clearly, you can observe here clearly. This is the work part whose depth is to be measured. Here you simply are inserting the okay main scale that is into this one, and you are taking the reading, the main scale reading and the vernier scale reading. Finally, you will get the okay the depth of the particular given object. Right. Okay, vernier depth is right. Use it to measure depth, distance from plane surface to projection, recess, slots, and steps. The basic parts of vernier height gauge are different anvils. Okay, so vernier scale is calibrated along with the 5 adjustment screw. Accurate measurements, the reference surface. Observe here, very important point. This is for accurate measurements. The reference surface must be flat and free from spark and burrs. When the beam is brought in contact with the surface being measured, the base is held firmly against the reference surface. The base is to be held firmly. Here, if you observe here, the complete base is to be firmly held on the work part to be measured. Okay. Pressure exerted should be equivalent on the surface being measured. The reading on this instrument follows the same process as that of vernier calipers. Here, observe here. The vernier and main scale have stained chrome finish for glare-free reading with a reversible beam and slat. The beam is made of hardened stainless steel rod. The battery-operated digital vernier caliper is also available with a high contrast 6 mm liquid crystal display. Okay, digital type of vernier depth gauges are also available nowadays. Next. This is all about vernier calipers, vernier height gauge, vernier depth gauge. Now coming to micrometers. Okay. Micrometers have greater accuracy than vernier calipers, as already discussed in the least count case. Least count of vernier calipers is 0.02 and least count of micrometer is 0.01. In most of the cases, in some cases, it is 0.001. Okay. What is the principle here? Accurate screw and nut are used for measurement. Micrometers work on the principle of screw and nut. Okay. Simply the screw is attached to a concentric cylinder or thimble, right? This is the thimble. If you observe the different parts, different components of the micrometer, here the anvil, this is a fixed anvil, this is a spindle, movable spindle, this is a locking nut, this is the main scale on the barrel. This is called barrel or sleeve, and this is a thimble, okay, thimble part. Centrally, this is the spindle, right here the ratchet, okay, different and a U-shaped frame. U-shaped frame is there. Here dimension, the work part to be measured is placed between these anvils, the fixed anvil and the movable anvils. At the end there is the anvil for the spindle. Okay. Here this is main scale and this is the okay, vernier scale. Right. Micrometers have greater accuracy than vernier calipers and are used in most of engineering precision work involving interchangeability of component parts. In order to achieve the interchangeability for the components, definitely how to produce the accurate parts. In order to produce the accurate parts, accurate measuring instruments are to be needed. So therefore, you are going to use the micrometers as the precision instruments. Here they have an accuracy of 0.01 mm generally, but micrometers with an accuracy of 0.001 mm are also available. They are used to measure length, width, thickness, and diameters of job. Okay. Here, the maximum range of this micrometer is 25, 0 to 25. That is maximum value to measure 25. The barrel. This is the barrel sleeve, and the thimble here are having the okay readings, and here ratchet. All right. It is a it is based on the principle of screw and nut. Very important point is this. It is based on the principle of screw and nut. When the screw is turned through one revolution, the nut advances by one pitch distance. Observe here, when the screw is turned through one revolution, the nut advances by one pitch distance. One rotation of the screw correspond to linear movement of the distance equal to the pitch of the thread. Suppose if you turn the screw inside the nut, okay, through one revolution, automatically it advances through one pitch distance. One pitch distance, right? The circumference of the screw is divided into unequal parts. If the circumference of the screw is divided into unequal parts, then its rotation of one division will cause the nut to advance through pitch by end length. For complete rotation, for one rotation, it advances through one pitch distance. Okay, if you take number of divisions on the screw as n divisions, okay, for n divisions, simply it advances through one pitch distance. Okay, for one division, it advances through pitch by n length. Pitch by n length. Observe here. If you turn the screw through the nut through one rotation, one revolution, okay, simply it advances linearly through one pitch distance. Suppose if you take number of divisions as n on the circumference of the screw, then for n divisions rotation, okay, for complete rotation, simply it travels pitch distance. For one division rotation of the screw, it travels a linear distance of pitch by n length. Pitch by n length. Okay, understand clearly. The circumference screw is divided into n equal parts, and its rotation of one division will cause the nut to advance through pitch by n length. This is the principle. The minimum length that can be used to measure in such a case will be pitch by n, and by increasing the number of divisions, if you increase the number of divisions, automatically the whole value will decrease, or by decreasing the pitch also you can reduce the value, this least count value. Okay, the least count varies based on the pitch value and n value. If you increase the n value, automatically overall value decreases. If you decrease the pitch value, overall value decreases. Likewise, you can increase the accuracy by decreasing pitch or by increasing the number of divisions on the screw, right? Least count of micrometer equal to pitch by total number of head scale divisions. Okay, pitch distance traveled by the thimble on the linear scale for one rotation. For one rotation of a thimble, the distance traveled linearly on the barrel. That is the pitch. The screw has a pitch of 0.5 mm. Then after every rotation, the spindle travels axially by 0.5 mm. Pitch is 0.5 here for the given micrometer. Then after every rotation of thimble, the spindle travels axially by 0.5 mm. And if the conical end of the thimble is divided by 50 divisions, if on the thimble there are 50 divisions, 50 divisions, for each division, here, the barrel simply or the spindle travels a distance of 0.5 by 50. This count, that is 25 by 50, 0.01 mm. Okay. Here 0.5 is the pitch, and here is the number of divisions on the thimble. Number of divisions on the thimble. As discussed in the previous case, here pitch by n gives the least count. Right. These are all the parts of the micrometer. Right. Micrometer. Cylinder whose diameter to be measured here, it is placed in between the fixed jaw and the movable spindle. Here this is the main scale, and this is the thimble scale, main scale. Here this is the reference line. The line, this is line is the reference line. Here on this main scale, 1 mm divisions are there below the reference line, and above the reference line 0.5 mm gradations are there. If you observe clearly here, below the reference line 1 mm gradations are there, and above the reference line 0.5 mm gradations are there. What is the minimum value on this barrel or spindle? That is main scale, that is 0.5. 0.5 mm is the minimum value of each division. If you go for the thimble reading, here in this case totally 50 divisions are there. 50 divisions are there. Okay, right. Total reading equal to main scale reading. What is the main scale reading? In this case, you observe clearly 10, 11, 12, 13, 13.5. Here 13.5 is the main scale reading. Plus, what is the vernier coincidence? Here this it coincides with this 35 coincide with the reference line. Here 35 on the thimble division coincide with the reference line. That means 35. 35 to be multiplied with the least count. Okay, total reading equal to mean scale reading plus least count into reading on the thimble. Reading on the thimble. Okay. Value of smallest division on the main scale, the number of divisions on the table, that is least count, 13.85. Okay, likewise you have to take the reading. First you have to place the work part to whose dimension is to be measured between the fixed anvil and the spindle. Okay, and rotate the thimble in order to contact with the work part, the spindle in contact with the work part, and this end part, the ratchet is used in order to fine adjust this. Okay, spindle with the work part. After having close contact with the work part, simply take the reading on the main scale. This is on the barrel. On the barrel, if observe here, this is 0. It is increasing likewise 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13 division is visible. Therefore, this is 13 is the main scale reading. And if you go for this thimble reading, thimble, on the thimble, the 35th division is coinciding with the reference line. Take this thimble reading as 35. This 35, what is each division value on thimble? 0.5. So 0.01 is the each division value on the thimble. Therefore, how to take total reading as 13.5 plus 0.01 into 35. Right. Okay. Always you have to check the micrometer for zero error. If you move this spindle in order to get close contact with the fixed, okay, spindle fixed jaw. Here in this case, the 0 on the main scale should coincide with the 0 on the thimble. Okay. Here if you observe here, the 0 should coincide with the 0 on the right. What is the division here? What is the reading? Can you find the reading with the help of this micrometer position? Can you find here on the main scale? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5.5. Here the 5 division coincide with the reference line. 5 into 0.01. Sir, 10:55 అయిపోయింది సార్ నేను ఆఫ్ చేయలేదు. Hello, my dear students. I am closing the session. We will discuss the remaining in the next session. So thank you.